He's Ric Tyler.
And he's Dan Cashman.
In Maine, we often hear,
"You can't get there from here."
These are the stories of the risk takers,
The trailblazers.
those who turn obstacles into opportunities
every day and found their way
to get there from here.
And today,
they're on the Ric and Dan Show.
Are you the same guy you were 10 years ago?
I don't know that I think about that.
Well, now that I've asked you the question, now you got to think about it.
Well, I know, and I don't know that I want to. I just had a conversation with somebody about how deep I am. And I don't think of myself as a deep person because I try very hard to live in the moment. And I try very hard to live in that moment through every situation, whether good or bad, and appreciate it for what it is. And try not to get too hung up on future casting or what's happened in the past. So I don't know that I have thought of this question until you just asked it to me. And I think any answer I give you would be a knee-jerk reaction.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you always been that way? Have you always been, I must be in the present. I don't want a future cast. I can't dwell on the past. Have you always been that way?
I think so.
Really?
Maybe not, but I think so. And I think about moments in my life: high school graduation, college graduation. When I started my business, I pushed back so hard on a 5-year plan. I did not want a 5-year plan because I was thinking if I get too stuck in what the 5-year plan looks at, then I don't know that I would take an opportunity to grow if it's not part of that 5-year plan. And the way that I think about things, because of my day job here at Sutherland Weston in public relations, I do try to analyze things for what could go right, what could go wrong. But I don't know that I analyze things from the perspective of looking back 10 years, looking ahead 10 years. It's very much in the moment. And I would say our world has changed from 10 years ago. So am I a different person? Quite possibly. What year is this? 2026. So that would be 2016. So yeah, I had a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, going to be 5 later in the year. So yeah, I must have been a different person then. This is a really long answer and not what you were looking for, I'm sure.
It is what I'm looking for, because you intentionally did not put a plan in stone. You planned for the necessary flexibility to reinvent yourself if necessary.
Yeah, because I don't know what's going to happen. And I did that with my business. I did that with the television show. I had a goal, a very broad goal, to get that show on statewide. And we did. Mm-hmm. But if you had come to me in 2010 when we started the Nite Show.
I did, as a matter of fact.
You did. Yeah. We actually came to each other a lot. Yeah. We still do. Mm-hmm. And said, what's your financial outlook for this? And what are you looking for in terms of ratings? And what are you... I didn't know and I didn't care. My goal was to expand it statewide, but the immediate goal was to have fun on television. And we could control that every single time we recorded. And if we didn't have fun on television, then we had to make darn sure that we did the next time we recorded.
So some plans, some policies were in place and in stone. Hey, if we don't nail this, we're going to do better next time. But you still had the flexibility. Again, I go back to the term to reinvent yourself. How many times have you had to reinvent yourself?
I don't know that I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me take you back to when I first met you, when you weighed about 4 times the amount you are right now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's not a joke.
No. I had 3 of me inside of me.
Yeah. And you were not only pursuing your dream and your passion of a television program, you were also working in radio. Mm-hmm. And you departed radio for a time.
I did.
And worked in the world of politics. Mm-hmm. And at some point you returned sort of fully to broadcasting because the show had gone and then came back. Mm-hmm. Today you are still a broadcaster and a public marketing and community relations professional. I've seen you reinvent yourself at least once, twice. The time you did work for the Blue Ox, do I count that one as well?
But I think through it all, you're talking about professions.
Yes, I'm talking about professional reinvention, which is what I think we all have to do, whether we like it or not.
But I think going back to your question about whether or not I'm the same person today as I was 10 years ago, I think the foundation that I have had is still the same.
Which is good, because if you don't have a foundation, slightest tremor, you're going to collapse.
Right. But that foundation is something that I don't talk about. The foundation is to live every day to the fullest. You never know when it's going to be your last day. So I try to do that. It is to try and have fun with everything, no matter how difficult it is. Try and have some fun. It is to treat others the way that you want to be treated. And
I'm sorry, could you go back to that last one again? Because I'm thinking about some of the podcasts that you and I have shared together, and you haven't treated me. I'm having a sip of water. I need to think about that.
Do you also trade barbs with me when I trade barbs with you?
Oh, no, I'm the innocent victim every time.
No, that's not true. But I will say that the reason why I poke fun of you and other coworkers and people on the show is because I love it when people do it to me. I love a good laugh. And it doesn't matter if it's at my expense or somebody else's expense, unless they are very much down on their luck. In my opinion, if we're friends, it's fair game to have fun. As long as it's funny, it doesn't matter to me. I always in my head go for the laugh first. Now I have a filter. I've developed a filter. 1, if it's not funny, I don't go there. 2, sometimes I think things are funny that are not. 3, sometimes the setting that we're in is not appropriate. I can think of a few times on the show that we were having a serious moment with a guest and an idea popped into my head that I knew would get a laugh, and I left it alone because I thought this is not the right time. Because they are on a roll with something, and it's a moment that just didn't need to be funny, and so I just put it in the back of my head and just left it. But my brain instinctively at this point goes to what's going to be funny, and not everybody likes that. I have found very few people like that, in fact, but that's where my head goes.
So in having a policy in stone that says I'm having no policy in stone, I'm going to remain flexible enough so I can reinvent and I can enjoy life in the moment. I'm wondering what challenges come with that.
I think you're thinking too hard about it. I don't have a policy in stone. I live every day because that's what I want to do. I'm not crazy about it. I have been working here at Sutherland Weston for 10 and a half years. I'm not the type of person that lives every day to say, I've spent 3 days in this job. I'm going to go look for something else now. I'm stable about it, but I also recognize that you only get one chance to go through this life that we know of. So make the most of it. And if that means doing something that looks outwardly like reinventing yourself, okay, that's fine. But I have figured I still have the same foundation and ideals that I had 10 years ago. But I probably behave differently because, like I said, I don't have a 1-year-old anymore. So I tell a fewer fart jokes. I still tell them. The audience is different, though. I recognize I have to play to the audience. But what about you?
I don't make fart jokes.
You should, because we might laugh at those. You've reinvented yourself.
I've had to.
You've had to. But I don't know about that. Your career path, you were damaging the tune buggy at Kiss 94 FM back in the day, and then twice, and then Kiss in the 70s. And then you went on to do the weather at ABC 7. I think at the time it was News Channel 7. And then you went on to do the news at whatever they called News Center Maine back then. Just News Center? I guess News Center 2.
News Center 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you were doing news and weather and anchoring. And then you went on to do News Talk Radio. And I see those as a great reinvention of oneself publicly.
See, that's the reinvention I guess I was talking about, but you brought up the point that there's personal reinvention and there's professional reinvention. I'd like to think that personally, I haven't had to reinvent myself too much, but it's the forced professional reinvention that I think happens to everyone in their career.
Probably.
When I was a kid, I grew up pretending I had a radio station in the basements. Always.
Me too.
Always.
What was the name of yours? Mine was WDAM. People were listening for me, not for the hits.
I was WRNR for rock and roll.
Nice.
And I even picked the frequency as 100.
Ours, like we had a staff.
Really?
Yeah, we had Linda in the front, and then, this girl, Sally, was doing middays for us. She was great. No, It was, I didn't understand that the frequency had to be an odd number. So I picked one that I knew nobody had, 103.6.
I didn't even do the 0.6.
Yeah.
I was just somewhere around 100 because I'm older than you. And at the time you were just tuning in manually. There was no digital tuning. So that's close. It's a little staticky, but it's close enough. Is that Starbuck? Moonlight Feels Right? Sounds like it. Just a little. Oh, it is.
What was your format? All rock and roll?
All rock and roll.
Did you deviate? I deviated.
No,
I was today's format of adult hits. I was way ahead of my time.
Really? AC?
Yeah. No, adult. So like the Frank FM that plays everything, that was sort of my format.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was playing everything from John Davidson hit, because he only had one, to Huey Lewis and the News, a lot of Michael Jackson. Some Tone Loc made its way into it, into the playlist.
Wow.
So it was pretty diverse and ahead of its time.
I was WRNR 100 WRNR, 100% rock and roll. and I would do the liners like that. And I took a piece of paper and I took thumbtacks and pressed them up under them. So it looked like toggle switches in front of me. And I would go, and I would click them. And my dad would say, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Broadcasting." Right. And then eventually got the first full-time gig, got fired, went to college, was doing the college radio. And my summertime job was working at Jed's restaurant in Belfast. Jed's, R.I.P. The day that I was scrubbing the bottom of the boat with bleach, ruining my ELO t-shirt as it dripped on me, I got home and I was just beat. And I sat down and I was too tired to talk. And my mom and dad were on the opposite side of the living room and they were looking at me. And finally I said, "Is something wrong?" And Dad let out a sigh. And he looked at my mom and he said, "You tell him." I'm scared. I'm like, something's gone wrong. And she said, "Tom Shepard from Kiss 94 FM called and he wants you to give him a call." Whoa. I'd forgotten all about scrubbing the bottom of the Kathy K with bleach.
Yeah.
I picked up the phone and the next day I drove from Belfast to Ellsworth. There was a rip in the crotch of my painter's pants jeans. And as I sat at a table across from Tim Moore, who's now the president of Maine Association of Broadcasters, I sat with my legs as close together as possible and my hands wedged in. And it was a Friday. And I did the interview.
Yeah.
And Tim said, "Come back here at midnight." I did one break and Tim stumbled in and he said, "Yeah, you sound like you're fine. I'll be back here at 6. And he left. And I'm like, "You're going to trust me to do this?"
Everything was carts then,
Everything
right?
was carts. Everything was live.
And did you have like a playlist that you had to adhere to?
We had the clocks there, play a green, play a power, play
right.
a
And
yellow,
so for people not in the industry, what that means is the carts would have colors on them.
a color segment rotation.
And so the color green what was that currents or was that like gold?
Just archived hits.
Archived hits.
Yeah, recent archived hits.
I said that too fast and it made me laugh. See, it's the modern fart joke for a 48-year-old.
But anyway, all that to say that I got to reinvent myself from kid that wanted to be in radio, the kid that was in radio, got let go from radio, went to college, did college radio.
Wow.
Then started working again full time. And by the time I was in college, I remember my junior and my senior year, I was working part-time at Channel 2, part-time at Kiss FM, and then going to college full time. And then got out and went to radio full time.
2 questions for you. One, did those jobs feel like jobs? Because knowing you as I know you, you loved and love that work.
You're absolutely right.
And point 2, did you feel like you were reinventing yourself in those times, even back then?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Not personally, but professionally, because Tim Moore, Mark Osborne, Stu Marcoon, they were fun, but they were professional.
Sure.
And they had a very, let me use the word strict. Let me use the word strict, but not in like is going to slap your knuckles with a ruler. Very gentle, very understanding, but this is the way we do this. And the sound that Kiss 94 FM had was adult, bright and friendly, never down, never dark.
I never would have made it there.
And I would listen to you on Z107.3 and I would hear someone much different. Someone sharp, someone in a good way, forceful, present. In the Z workforce, right?
Yeah.
When you were on middays.
Yep, I was.
And then what was during the noontime? It wasn't the back in the day cafe. It was.
It evolved to that, but it was the 80s retro lunch hour when I first started there.
Yeah, and if you were lucky, you heard Pac-Man Fever by Buckner and Garcia,
which was not approved by corporate, by the way. I would slip that in.
Anyway.
This is back before they could stream us, so there were a lot of things that were not approved by corporate. No clue.
Isn't the best shows we ever had were the days when the bosses were away?
Yeah. When our corporate consultant would fly into town, that playlist was tight. But when he was not there, that 80s hour was all gloves, all bets were off. Yeah.
Yeah. Bare naked ladies.
Well, that would have been, I mean, that was an 80s, but that would have been if I had $1 million, they would have been fine with that. But I was playing some deep cuts from like Tiffany that nobody remembered. One song I always,
like what could have been?
No, I don't even remember. We had a cassette player back then. So I loaded in a couple of songs that I knew that I liked from her cassette into our computer system. So
How was the audio fidelity transfer on that?
Not so good.
I didn't.
Not
think
so good. But yeah, I would play some deep cuts in that. And I appreciate you saying that. But the type of stuff that I got the opportunity to do at Z107.3 was because there was little oversight creatively. So Bob Duchesne was my boss for a time, and he put the trust in the people working for him to be creative. And I am forever grateful about that. However, the things that I thought were creative didn't necessarily translate to ratings successes. Mm-hmm. And one time I had an idea during the afternoon show to do a live remote, which the remote broadcast is when somebody is out somewhere on the road, and then the person in the studio will throw to the person on the road to promote.
Les Nessman's at the shopping mall watching the turkeys fall from the helicopter.
Right, exactly. And most times, if you listen to KISS, you'd get Jordan's Dogs
Frank's on Nissan Rolls with ice cold Coca-Cola and free balloons for the kids from Taylor Rental Party Plus.
Exactly. So I had an idea. It would be fun to do a remote from our first floor men's room. And
kind of echoey, isn't it?
No, the acoustics were great.
Really?
Yeah. And I set up back then. Cell phones weren't what we used because the technology wasn't great. So I said we had this thing that most radio stations had called a Marty, and it would send a signal back to a tower, and then that would go back to the studio.
It comes up on the board.
So I set up the Marty in the hallway outside the men's room with a mic cord going in. Nobody in the building cared. It was just, oh, they must be doing something.
So you were in the bathroom.
Yeah, and Kid was on the air.
This is where the fart jokes came from.
Always. Yeah, for sure. And he threw to me 3 times an hour for 3 hours. And I'd just be like, yeah.
Did you actually sit in there the entire time?
My office was right outside it, so I would. You
had an opportunity to actually get some work done.
I would get some work done, but yeah,
doing your business while you were doing your business.
Exactly. But to the listener, I was just in the bathroom for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm sure people grew tired of that bit. I'm tired of talking about it already. But it was stuff like that just seemed fun at the time.
Yes.
And we were just able to do it. We had unlimited creative control with the exception of the music. Kid was the music director, and he did a great job, an absolute great job calling out hits before they were hits. And he was always so good about that. We were right on top of music. But then corporate would sort of... Actually, the consultant we had at the time was pretty good, but eventually corporate sort of took over a little bit more than I think any radio station would like.
Let me take this on a dark turn and talk about reinvention again.
Okay.
Because the Dan that I knew that I could come occasionally visit in the studio at Z107.3 was the same Dan that one day had to give me the Sam Seaborn Smackdown. Because at the time, you had left radio and you were working for, as I recall, Governor John Baldacci.
I don't know if I was yet.
Well, why would you have been giving me the Sam Seaborn Smackdown?
Because you were talking about, what was it?
I thought it was Dirigo Health.
Yes. And the reason I gave it to you was because my aunt was going through, and I might get some of the details of this wrong. Your memory is far better than mine on things that happened 20 years ago. My aunt was going through cancer treatments, and Dirigo Health basically is why she was and is still alive. And I remember talking to you about that, saying it is not all bad. It has literally saved my aunt's life. And I don't think I was working in the administration yet.
You were wearing a tie.
Then maybe I was.
Yes.
Or maybe I had just come from a funeral.
You want to play that card? Hey, if you want to remember it this way.
I don't know, but maybe I was. But I know that it was more about my aunt. And if I was working in the administration, it was less about that.
I really recalled, and maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, I will stand corrected. I was under the impression and the recollection you were working for the administration of John Baldacci, and the work that her name is going to elude me. She just got a University of Maine Alumni Award for her work, Trish Riley, in crafting Dirigo Health. Really, it was kind of the blueprint for what would eventually be the Affordable Care Act. It was like a precursor of it, okay? And I remember that Elizabeth and I needed healthcare coverage, so we looked into Dirigo Health. And it wasn't even going to come close to working for us. And then I started talking to others, and they told me, no, it doesn't work. And here's why it does. And this is why it isn't going to. I don't want to dig a past policy. But I had since reinvented myself again. And this was in that time of I was in television. I quit everything and I joined Elizabeth to start then Blue Paper Communications. There was a time I was out of broadcasting.
But you must have been on the radio because I wouldn't have known.
I was not on the radio.
So why would I have known your thoughts on it?
No, this didn't happen until I had gone back to radio and I went to work in talk radio. And suddenly my job was to ask questions.
Yeah.
Well, does it work for everyone? No. Why doesn't it work for everyone? Well, if it doesn't work for everyone, why should everyone have to pay into it? And for those that don't understand the reference, Sam Seaborn SmackDown, one of our mutual favorite television shows, along with Ed and several others, was The West Wing.
Which I had not seen at the time, so I really had no idea who or what you were talking about. But I went with it because I was passionate about my aunt.
Yeah, and Sam Seaborn was a character in the Bartlett administration in The West Wing, and when someone had to be told to stop or think twice about what you're doing, it was Sam's job to go talk to them. And then there's an episode where someone says, am I getting the Sam Seaborn SmackDown? And Sam Seaborn that wasn't Rob Lowe's character, was it?
I think it was.
It was, yeah. And he had to say, yeah, I guess you are.
So did you think I was deployed there by the administration to talk with you?
It was pretty easy to connect some dots.
Oh.
Because there's no way you were listening to me on the radio. Otherwise, how did you know that I was saying the things I was saying and the questions I was asking about Dirigo Health?
So I was listening to you on the radio because...
You were the only one.
No, that's not true.
Oh, this was early on.
I had an hour and 15 minutes in the car in the morning to get to Augusta.
No, this was before Sirius XM, wasn't it? Otherwise, you would have been listening to Kids Place Live.
I wouldn't have been. No, I didn't have kids. So why would I listen to Kids Place Live without kids?
Because it's so great without kids.
It is great without kids. Mindy does a wonderful job.
Isn't she?
No, I would listen in the morning, but it was before I had an iPod. It was before, I don't even think I had a CD player in that car. I was listening to the radio.
Because it would have been 2005, 2006-ish, maybe
2006 is when I started in that office.
All of this to say that the Dan that I knew that would broadcast live from a bathroom on a contemporary hits radio station was not the Dan that was wearing a tie that I recalled was working for the administration of one of the most successful governors in the state of Maine. Yes, I said what I said, and I'll stand by it because he did what he did for the people of Maine. And there's a reason he got elected twice, and there's a reason that he served in Congress. Very different people. And that's why I look to you, as I said earlier, tell me about the times that you reinvented yourself, because you did. And then you did it again and became a television host.
I did, but let me just close. Let me put the final button on that. And I would say that
go ahead and try.
When it comes to my family, I will defend to the end. And I do remember, well, I don't remember where I was working. I do remember that was 100% about my aunt and her experiences, because you said to me, I'm going to get this wrong, but you can correct me because you will remember exactly what you said. All of us want life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness, but we just disagree on how we get there. Does that sound familiar? Or like something you would say?
Very, very close, yes.
So I said to you that this is a very personal topic for me, and I fully believe that she is still here because of it. And I'll leave it at that. But that was where I was coming from.
Okay.
I wish we had this conversation, later that night. It would have been nice to...
we probably wouldn't have had a friend relationship hiatus.
I don't think we did.
Well, It took a while.
We had a friend relationship hiatus when I told you that Congressman Mishu couldn't appear on your show the next morning after Election Day. And I was trying to, oh God, I have to admit this. I was trying to text and drive before voice to text. And I was just trying to get the point across that like, there's no room in the schedule. I'm really sorry. And I said something that came across as very flippant. Very flippant. I didn't have good text etiquette back then. I was just trying not to be distracted, and it came across the wrong way.
But you know what? I liked you enough to understand.
There was a past tense in that I don't know that I can.
No, because I liked you then. I love you now in a way. And if I were to right now press the fast forward button, I take us to the day that I reached out to you to ask you on behalf of the United Way, then of Eastern Maine, if you would be the guest speaker as Elizabeth and I were asked to be the chairs of the campaign, the first husband and wife chair of the campaign.
Right.
And we decided, you know what? We are going to reinvent. We are going to look to reinvigorate the United Way campaign in Eastern Maine. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it here. We're going to invite these people. I'm going to put together a musical monologue that gets people dancing. I've got a vision in my head to do it.
Which was incredible. I will die on that
Don't
sword.
make me cry. Because
It was incredible. I remember standing there watching this take place saying, how many rehearsals did they need to make this work? And you answer the question right now. I think I know the answer. How many rehearsals?
I rehearsed it in my head.
Zero rehearsals.
I know. And I had the two friends that were going to go dance on the pictures. Anyway, before we get to that, or let's save that for another day, because I'm going to cry.
Yeah, which was my goal coming in here.
No, because you know what? And I'll confess. And I do not want this to happen, but I know someday I'm going to be sitting alone in a nursing home. And I'm going to be trying to think about what do I have to look back on where I felt like, you know, that really worked, or that was fun and that made a difference, or that was exciting. That's one of the moments. If I get to pick five.
Do you wish somebody had recorded that?
No. And you know why? I fear that if I looked back at it now, it wouldn't be nearly as fun and heartwarming and successful and well-timed.
No. I disagree. However, you are your own worst critic. So for you...
Hello, Pedal. Hello, Pot. This is Pedal. You're black.
Pedal. For you, yes, it would not be as good as you remembered.
No.
But I saw it with clear vision, and it was incredible. And that is not an overstatement.
I appreciate that from you. Do you remember the song? Because if you remember the song, I'll give you all the money in my pocket right now.
It was either Small World or Perfect World by Huey Lewis and the
News. It was Small World.
I get the two confused.
Everyone does.
Yep.
But in Small World, there's that break.
Yeah.
Before the little sax solo. I think it's an alto sax or a tenor sax solo. And it
Stan Getz maybe on sax.
Was it? But the entire thing had to time out to that point and then get everyone to dance and then stop at that point and then to explain, we're going to bring the fun back.
Yeah.
I'm choking up now. Anyway.
Do you know what it reminded me of? And I don't remember which one happened first, but Letterman's final episode. People might know I have a little bit of a fascination with late night television.
A little.
I was up watching it that night, May 20th, 2015.
Foo Fighters?
Foo Fighters playing the final song. And they had the timeout that they were playing live. They had to time out with the video montage, Farrah Fawcett saying, wow. And they did. And I don't remember which one came first, but I remember either seeing you and thinking Foo Fighters or seeing that and thinking Ric Tyler in that moment.
That's the best part of living in this community. It's just big enough to do something like that and just small enough to let us be a part of it.
Yeah. You can do anything here in Bangor, Maine.
But let me go back.
Okay.
Before that event, they needed someone to be the speaker.
Right.
And I sat in the room and I opened my mouth to say, I wonder if, and before I did, I think it was Shira. Do you think Dan Cashman would talk? Do you think Dan Cashman would come out? And I was like, well, I know the guy. And I called him. Remember they brought us in? And we both had T-shirts.
Yeah, mine was too small.
I just thought you looked buff.
No, I looked fat.
But they took
it's fine.
No, you didn't. And they took a picture of the two of us.
Yeah.
And we stood back to back. And
snack to snack.
And we had a full page ad in the Bangor Daily News.
Yeah.
I would love to still see that today. But what did I tell you when you left that day?
I don't know.
Walking down the hallway. Because I knew you had Cashman Communications.
Yeah.
I know you're doing the show.
Yeah.
And I keep saying, this is going to come back to the West Wing in a second. In my little head, a little echo. he's one of us. He's one of us. And I'd said it to Elizabeth. I'd said it to Carrie, the guy that used to be here. Dan, he's one of us. And I said to you as you're walking down the hallway, don't you think we should talk about this?
Maybe. But what triggered
If
the
you're
actual...
not remembering this correctly, how can I trust that you're remembering this Dirigo health conversation correctly, okay?
But what triggered the actual conversation for me coming here was after the event, not after the photo shoot, after the event, when I said to you, we should do more things together.
Yes!
And then I was in a meeting where I think I left my phone in the car or I turned it off. I don't remember. But when I went back to the phone, there were 7 messages from you.
Yes.
And all of them, except for one, said, call Carrie.
Yeah.
And then the last one said, call Carrie soon. So I remember that part. I don't remember the conversation as we were walking down the hallway after the photo shoot, though.
I do. And it's one of those that I'm glad. That'll be one of the 5 that I remember in the nursing home.
Oh, stop.
Of course, I'll be like Mike and Mike back in the day. Hey, you remember?
No to you.
No to you.
No to you.
See,
that just came up in conversation.
What, the no to you?
Yeah. So for listeners who are, younger than 50.
Or if anyone's still listening to this podcast, because we're sure by now you've left.
I'm still listening.
That makes one of us.
I just gave myself a high five in the car as I'm driving around listening to the sound of my own voice like I usually do. I was talking to somebody. Oh, I think it was Adam Hatch, comedian Adam Hatch.
Oh, the guy that does the high stakes house of comedy
at Hollywood
Casino Hotel and Raceway.
That's right. And I dropped a no to you into conversation and he goes, oh, what is that from? I said, it was a series of Mike and Mike promos when they were at Z107.3. He goes, that's right. It was like they were in an old age home. I said, yeah, Shady Acres Home for retired DJs. And he's like, how do you remember that? I said, I have no idea. But
oh, my word. I remember. And I think of that every time that I drive by what was Chuck Foster's house, because I thought that was going to be our nursing home someday for all of us.
It still could be.
It is. It's nice. The makeover's been fantastic.
Yeah, I know it. What was the toughest transition for you?
Okay, because that's the same question I have for you as well.
Okay.
And I can tell you, it's going to get a little spiritual. All right. I'm just going to warn you. I had left radio, and that was tough. And I went to television, Channel 7. And then Channel 2 called and said, look, we want to know, would you like to come over to our team? And other changes in my life, leaving radio to go to television, that was kind of scary. But I had the chance to go from Channel 7 over to Channel 2. But they wanted me to, okay, we want your weather standby for Steve McKay over here, but we want you to be a television reporter, and we want to put you on the anchor desk beside Jan Smith and Donna Gormley. Holy cows. Not just holy cow. Holy cow is one thing. When it's really holy cow, it's holy cows, plural, like a whole herd, okay? And kid you not, I'm in church. It's a time of prayer, and I am on my knees, and I'm saying, God, I don't know how to do this. And you've heard me say what I'm about to say before. And it's one of those moments in my life, and I pray that you've experienced this somehow, some way. That little, still, small voice says something in your ear, and it just changes everything. And this is what the voice said. You don't need to know all the answers. You just need to know the questions. And I still get goose flesh at that because that is now what I do every morning. I don't need to know any of the answers of anyone I'm talking to. I just need to know questions. Just ask the questions. And that's kind of what we do in our lives here as well at Sutherland Weston. That's been the toughest transition. That's been the toughest, let me call it, reinvention. Weatherman to television reporter. But that change has helped me through everything.
I would imagine you needed a lot of spiritual help to get over people calling you Steve McKay so much.
The day that I ordered the sandwich at, it wasn't the Grindhouse. What was it before the Grindhouse? Giacomo's. I'm in Giacomo's, and I order a sandwich, and they write it down on a little piece of... Okay, all right. And then I order it. And then I'm standing there, and they're calling out the names of the people for their orders. Jocelyn, Steve, Steve. And no one's moving. Steve. And finally, and this is the stupidest thing, someone on the other side of the room looks over at me and gives me the little head nod. Isn't that you? And I'm going, oh, my word. So I walk up. I said, here you go, Steve. And I grab it and I said, can I have that little piece of paper too? That said Steve on it.
Wow.
What's been your toughest, and I'm going to call it reinvention, but what's been your toughest reinvention or your toughest transition?
So I haven't said this to anybody. So the two podcast listeners left, me and you, get to hear. Mine has been going from having a television show to not having a television show. It's hard. And David Letterman himself warned me about it.
Yeah.
But I worried about this part of it, and I told him that I worried about it. I subscribed to his theory. I'm either thinking about doing a show or doing a show all of the time. I'm still thinking about doing a show, but I have no place to put the ideas. And so rather than write them down, rather than put them somewhere, they just dissipate.
No.
And that's the weirdest feeling. I can't even tell you some of them, but I can tell you I've come up with ideas that I thought were really good, really solid ideas for things that would be funny to do in this area. One of them stemmed from a conversation I was having with a friend, and I said, that's a brilliant idea. We never did that. We should have done that. And I hate not having a platform. And one of my friends said, just still do them and put them on YouTube. No. It's not the same. You got when you have the rhythm of doing a television show week in and week out, you not only have the routine down, but you get that instant gratification from a live audience to tell you if something works or it doesn't. And without that, you're just kind of throwing it out there. And yes, maybe that's good for some people, but and maybe it will be for me someday. But right now in this moment, one of our writers unexpectedly passed away. Former writers unexpectedly passed away a month ago or so. Thank you, David Forbes Brown. Super talented guy, really nice guy. We had so much commonality in things that interested us, like the Red Sox. He wrote a whole blog called the Red Sox Report that was funny and sweet and argumentative for current Red Sox ownership. And he passed away unexpectedly. And I thought, oh, it would be nice to dedicate a segment to him, but there's no segment to put together. I would love to say something nice about my experiences with Stephen Colbert. I got nowhere to put it. And that's fine. Most people don't. I understand. I was beyond fortunate to have the platform that I had to be able to have creative freedom, just like at Z107.3, but this time structured better. And I miss it. I really miss it. I miss talking with guests that some of them I booked myself simply because I was curious about what made them tick. And I was able to drill down on that, not in a serious way, in a way that was just fun. Again, our goal was to have fun on television. I miss having a front row seat to hear Brian Netto and the Nite Show Band every week. I miss exposing myself and our audience to new music that maybe we haven't seen before. I miss getting up and telling jokes. I'm not a stand-up comic, but through our writing team and a few from myself, I can write topical jokes. And I miss all of that. But then I think, will I ever come back to it? No. There was no better way to end our show than the way we ended it. And if we ever were to bring it back, people would expect it to be better. And I don't know how we make it better than what we just did. We had the best house band. We had the best team. We had the best last guest in the history of late night television. I don't know how we can build on that. So I think it ended at the right time. 15 years is a round number. I have other stuff commanding my time. I love nothing more than spending time with my kids, and I'm certainly doing a lot of that. But I miss it. And it's a tough transition. And it's not a tough transition when I'm here at work. It's not a tough transition when I'm with my kids. It is a tough transition when I'm sitting, watching television and thinking about an idea that I realize will never have a home. And that is still tough to take. And David Letterman said he still dreams about the show. I have a dream at least once a week about the show. It might be something stupid and funny. It might be the recurring dream that I had for years about there being no audience. Like I somehow forgot to promote that we were having a television show. So I walk out to do a monologue and my mom's sitting there by herself. It might be a guest that I formed a friendship with who was coming back on the show and we had this great idea. I still dream about it quite frequently. It's almost like maybe I should find a therapist and talk about this. It is that level of frequency. But this has been and is the toughest transition. Absolutely.
I'm not your therapist. You're not paying me for this 50-minute hour. But here is my honest question. Okay. And I want short answers from you.
Okay.
What's David Letterman do these days? I've seen it.
He goes on other people's shows and he has reinvented himself to
do what?
My Next Guest Needs No Introduction, which is a long form interview show.
Yep. And where does he post that? Netflix. Okay. Maybe it's not time for Netflix, but don't you think you could do something like this, similar to like, what does NPR have? Their small desk performance, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is an extension of the Nite Show on television now, the Nite Show performance series.
Yeah, I know, but that's not you.
No.
Dan, you're a broadcaster. Harry, you're a wizard. Okay. Dan, you're a broadcaster.
I'm equally nerdy, by the way.
So listen to, and I think if I had any relationship with Mr. Letterman, I would say the same thing to me if you were saying this to me across the table. Dan, you don't need a show. Dan, you need to broadcast.
I don't know.
I am not wrong.
I don't know.
I'm not wrong.
That doesn't surprise me to come out of your mouth. I don't know if.
Is that water bottle empty?
It is.
Can you pass it to me?
Yes. Are you going to throw it at me?
You're damn right I am.
Jeez. That felt full. Some power. You could have quit taking those gym classes or teaching them.
Dan, you don't need a show. You need to broadcast.
But
you need to sit down and talk with people the way you talk with people.
So, okay, but I'm podcasting. But I will tell you, it is the variety.
Yes, and you can control that level of variety.
Maybe, but I grew up on that style of show. That is the style of show I know how to host. That is the style of show I know how to produce.
Then reinvent yourself the way that you've reinvented yourself before for your own well-being.
I didn't reinvent myself.
No, yes, you did. The kid that was giving me the Sam Seaborn Smackdown is not the same kid that was broadcasting 3 times an hour from a bathroom while kid was rolling the hits.
It was the same kid. I will just say, yes, I have broadcasted on a radio station for 4 years. I knew how to do a midday show. I knew how to talk for a minute at a time.
Skirting the issue.
Going into a commercial break.
Pay no attention to what I'm saying.
And I could certainly talk up a Chingy record with the best of them.
I am telling you the truth and you're ignoring it.
I'm not ignoring it. I'm just trying to tell you that I will admit, you know me, I don't like saying when I'm good at something. Is that a fair statement?
This is true. You are your own worst critic.
So I admit that I think
pedal black. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pedal. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I admit that I became reasonably good at hosting a late night talk show.
Weren't friggin' reasonably good. You were freaking fantastic.
Okay. So fine.
You made David Letterman laugh.
I know.
You brought David Letterman to the edge of civilization.
Can you tell I'm glowing?
The guy stayed on stage with you when you did the whole. Doesn't matter because we're throwing the furniture out next week. That genius.
And when he asked me if I had signed anything yet to close the show, and I said we didn't sign anything to start the show. I mean, there are moments within that one show that I still pinch myself about. The moment where I somehow pulled it together to simply say, ladies and gentlemen, David Letterman, my childhood and adulthood hero was about to walk through those doors, and 99% of the people in the room didn't know it. And
including myself, you bastard.
I know, and I have specifically watched.
Can you pass me that water bottle again?
No, I'm keeping it over here. Thank you. I have specifically watched that video to see your reaction, and it is priceless.
And my wife knew.
She did know because she had to take the pictures, and also.
All right, hang on a second. Since we're on right now, you tell me, you told him not to shake my hand, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
You set that up.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything to him. I didn't talk to him until he came on stage.
And by the way, I've never asked you this. In the time that you said, ladies and gentlemen, David Letterman, and the doors opened, there was the pause that seemed to be an eternity. Did part of you go, it's all been a joke.
No.
He's not really there.
No, because I knew he was in the building.
Yeah.
I had been told he was in the building, and it was like wedding day not seeing the bride. I every time I left the set, I had to ask somebody, he's not in the hall, is he? Because I knew his MO was to not see the host before he goes on stage. And as a host, he didn't like seeing the guests before they came on stage.
Okay, we're getting so far away from this.
We are.
And I will gladly come back to this any day as your therapist. Ric Tyler, LCPC. All right. I'll reinvent myself again.
Yeah.
Because we all need like 5 jobs.
Dr.
Right?
Rick.
Okay.
You're like on The Simpsons, Dr. Nick.
Hi, everybody.
I like the sound of this. I really think that you should consider, and don't make me start like an online petition for it, where you would just, even if it's just your phone set up and you're talking and sharing something and thoughts, I don't think you need a show, because nothing will be as wonderful and met. Just like I can't go back to Mansfield Stadium and I can't do that thing again where the 2 girls came out and they danced one at a time and everybody got. You don't need a show. You need to broadcast. Just think about it.
The one question I did not ask David Letterman that I meant to ask him was if he misses his show. I think I might have told you this. If he misses his show more, because in his heart, he's a broadcaster. You can do comedy anywhere.
Yep.
But you can only broadcast when you're broadcasting.
Yeah.
And I really wish I had asked them that. I really wish I could have gotten that question out. I just couldn't find an easy place to slip it in.
But I bet you already know the answer.
I think the answer is yes, but I would have loved to hear his insight as to why. And maybe that would be helping me form. I like talking to people on this podcast. This scratches that interview itch. I miss the silly bits. I miss the camaraderie. Never mind just listening to the band, but the camaraderie with the band. I liked when we did our tribute show for George Hale, which you were so wonderful in.
Thank you for letting this is another.
You gonna cry again?
I'm going to throw my water bottle at you.
I know Coffee Hound Coffee is a sponsor of ours, but we got to get Kleenex on board too.
Stop it. If not for Coffee Hound Coffee, wouldn't have the caffeine in order to do these shows.
True. Thank you, Coffee Hound Coffee.
Thank you, Chris Keegan and Coffee Hound Coffee. Get some today.
Wander, explore, caffeinate. CoffeeHoundCoffeeCo.com.
If you hadn't done the George Hale tribute show, I wouldn't have had a public opportunity to show my appreciation for someone who has been a colleague and mentor for 21 plus years of broadcasting. And it wasn't until we were backstage with someone that someone said to me, "How long did you work with him?" I said, 21. We're going on 22 years. And someone said, "Geez, I think that's longer than anybody else."
I will just say, just before walking out, I made I get introduced and I'm standing there and there's no doors because we didn't have our set anymore. And I just made it.
Clap all you want. I'm not editing this out. This is staying in right here. For those that don't know, I do the editing. And when you hear the claps, I usually make an edit and cut that part out so you don't have to hear it. But this is too good.
Yeah.
The doors don't open. You come out and
the last few shows we did, I was always trying to get our drummer, Mike Borgia, who had been with the show since day one in 1997, to smile or acknowledge me or whatever. And when the doors were there, it was harder because I had a split second to catch his eye and I usually couldn't. This time he's looking right at me and I'm not going anywhere. So I just make an inappropriate hand gesture to him on the way, just before coming into camera shot. Yeah. And I thought, that's a little thing that I miss. I didn't even think I missed. And it's all of that together. It's not broadcasting. It's doing the Nite Show, and it's different. And it always was different. And we made it different. We made it special. And I just think that's what I miss. If I started making stupid videos on my phone, posting them to Facebook or whatever, that's not what I miss. I miss the totality of the show. And I said shortly after ending, I don't have a deep-seated desire to be on television. I had a desire to do the show that we did for 15 years, and I am so fortunate and thankful that we could. But the transition has been and is difficult.
Was Mike Borgia the drummer when you were recording at the KFC hall?
No, at the time, he was. So the drummer was Arthur Lidrell in the Lidrell
Arthur
Trio.
Lidrell, thank you, because you threw asparagus at him. No wonder he left. I remember that episode.
It was so bad he moved all the way to Idaho or Iowa. I don't know which. We've talked a long time about things that have been challenges for us.
Yep.
I don't think we have addressed all of them. Shall we meet again?
Next time a guest cancels on us, yeah, sure.
Thanks for listening to the Ric and Dan Show.
And thanks, Ric, for making this a very entertaining, unique experience. Sarcasm filter off.
If you like what you heard, don't suppose you'd click that subscribe button.
And maybe leave us a review on your favorite listening platform.
5 stars are our favorite.
And next time you hear someone say,
You can't get there from here.
you tell them to listen to the Ric and Dan Show.